by the way, this rocking chair I'm in right now is going. I might end up have to throw it out eventually. Pretty soon it'll turn into the toothpick splinters. I actually do want to replace this with some more nicer furniture. I thought about getting some nice on my porch here patio furniture and stuff. Get some nice maybe some metal ones and then like a nice patio table that would be easily seat for people and stuff. If you want to in the summertime invite friends over and have a game night or something. Yeah, we got one mic already. And one view. Yeah, it's good to see you too. I think I might know you. Name looks familiar. I think you might have been one of those people that might have dated a girl that I went to school with one time. Because years ago, I was friends on Facebook with this girl I went to school with. That was married for a short while to a guy that had a similar name. Well, yeah, I'll flip the camera around and show you all the porch here from the kind of inside view here. Well, yeah, the reason why I didn't film this porch railing and being put up and stuff, because it was because my childhood friend that's a carpenter, he's the one that, just a fan of, yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll show you again this porch railing. Well, yeah, this railing was put up by my childhood friend that's a carpenter. He's the one that put this railing up. It's one of those things where the insurance company wanted to the insurance company wanted railing up on this porch and stuff, and so he installed it for us. He's the one that I'm actually buying this house from. His parents, and so he kindly put it up for me. But yeah, the reason why I didn't film it is because he came down here and he did it and stuff, and I didn't want to put in my camera. And plus, he had a son with him too, and I don't want to put his children out there on the internet and stuff. So because he had his son down here and teaching his son about how to do stuff, and plus, I didn't have permission from him to film him, and I don't care to put people on camera and stuff. They know I do the YouTube stuff, and they watch my videos and stuff. So if they ever came down here and do a project and said, hey, I want you to film this or whatever, then I would, if they brought it up. But I don't care to, on some stuff, kind of certain people stuff and filming stuff. Now, when I'm out in public and stuff, filming them, then, obviously it's a lot different. But, he had a son down, and the son was his son was helping him learn the trade of carpentry and stuff, which I think is a very good thing. I think it's important for children to learn and stuff, and learn a skill trade and stuff. So, yeah. And then today I went around and I just sanded all the splinters, so that way if there's any, get rid of all the splinters, so that won't be an issue. Sand it smooth. I just took whatever old standard, I think it was 120 grit sandpaper, and I just lightly sanded it, best of my abilities. I'm no fancy carpenter sander or anything like that on myself. I'm not none of that, so. But yeah, I just threw that topic up, about helping those in need, because I think that would be a neat idea to do on YouTube and stuff, and do videos of of giving to people and stuff. So, because I think that would be neat to do. Be able to like I thought about in Oh, I'm doing good, big commander. Yes, yeah. Now, I thought about how it would be neat to do like some of these YouTubers do random giveaways and stuff. I would like to know. I gotta do some research on it, figure out how they do it, like these programs and stuff that content creators use to do giveaways and stuff. Hey there, Monty Zimmerman. But yeah, I'd like to sometime on my YouTube channel find a good program that allows you to do like giveaways and stuff where where it automatically detects when people have shared videos and done certain things like a lot of these YouTubers out there doing stuff, because I think it would be fun to do that stuff. I do plan on in the near future getting a PO box sometime and setting up like a fan mail PO box stuff later on when I can afford it, because I think to rent from my local post office and or get one of those well, my goal is to actually help out people and stuff. Are you trying to give to people for YT career or to my goal is on YouTube is to be able to help out those in need and stuff and give to people, and I think it would be neat later on sometime once I get a PO box set up, maybe do some giveaways and stuff on this channel and figure out what kind of software and program to use on that. I know there's some free software out there, and then there's also paid versions that of software programs that help you set up giveaways and stuff and figure out all the legalness behind it and stuff. I know where I work at, the store I work at, they have a UPS store, and the UPS store has little PO boxes you can rent out to, and I thought about maybe looking into one of those or just go with my regular good old fashioned local post office, which I kind of leaned in the past a little bit more towards them, just doing the United States Postal PO box, so that way I don't gotta worry about in the event if the US the UPS store ever went out or something for whatever reason, then I wouldn't have to worry about that too much. Where I think in the long run, if I went with a regular just United States Postal PO box, I think that would be a lot more in the long run better terminology, because that's always going to be there. Whereas U.S. the brown delivery trucks UPS would yeah, you run a little more of a risk of, is it always going to be there and stuff or not, because I know in the past there was kind of, I think, some rumors talked about that store getting moved and going somewhere else. I've heard a few little rumors and stuff, but so yeah, I think what I probably do is just go with a regular United States Postal in the near future and stuff. Look into that when I safely. I think I got a pamphlet one time about them, and I think it was around depending on how long you rent it for. Like they had like for like 6 months or a month or so with different prices and stuff. And I would obviously get the longer one, which I think was around, I think $200 or $300 and some change to rent the PO boxes, and then plus whatever size ones you want and stuff, and I'd always get the bigger size. Because I think it would be fun to do that, kind of like a lot of content creators used to do, a lot of fan mail unboxing and stuff. I think that would be neat, but because in the near future, if I did, Lord willing, I was able to successfully build up a YouTube channel and stuff, I would buy some land and build like a YouTube studio type place, like some content creators do. Basically, all it would be is I would just build a big giant pole barn, a standard size, pole barn, and throw an office in it. That's what I would do. I wouldn't build some like outlandish custom building thing and stuff. Because the problem with that is, if in the event the YouTube channel crashes and you lose a bunch of money, and YouTube goes out, then you got this big old building that you can't afford, and it's going to be hard to sell if you try to build some custom type building. Where what I would do is I would do something where if I had to, oh, I'm not making enough money off of YouTube, I can't afford it, I could hurry up and pack my stuff or excuse me for my language, pack your shit and get out and be able to it's easier to sell and stuff. Like this house I'm living in. If I have the money to fix it up and restore it, I want to fix it up and restore it in a way where if some event I have to move or whatever, for whatever reason, there's always that possibility where it will be easier to sell. Because like I talked about, taking this old dirt floor basement that this has the old fieldstone foundation because it's a 100-year-old house, and a lot of houses in my area still have the old fieldstone foundations, and I thought it would be neat to jack this house, put a brand new basement underneath it, a full cemented in basement, where the kitchen is, that has a crawl space, and make that part of the basement, and put a little bit of an addition on the back, and basically convert this into like where you convert it, keep it awake where family home, but have it also set up where it could be also easily converted into a 3-unit apartment. Because what I would do is have it set up where the basement would be almost like its own little apartment space and stuff, where I would have set up my little living quarters down in the basement, and then have the main floor here for my brother to use for some drafting company and stuff, because he actually formed him a long time ago in LLC, so he's in trying to start up his own business, and that's one of the people I want to help out through YouTube and stuff, is be able to make that possible and stuff. And I think I do got the super chat joke up in case anybody's wondering about that. But yeah, I would like to have this house set up where basically you could sell it as a regular family home where some family could buy it and live in it like a normal family home, or somebody could potentially buy it and convert it into a apartment complex if they wanted to, like a 3-unit apartment and stuff. So that way it opens up the market in the real estate market, and then if I had to sell this to appeal to more people and stuff, and that would help us sell. That's why, like I said before, like with building a YouTube studio or something, I would just do a basic pole barn with like a little bit of office space that could easily be converted into like living quarters, or simply throw some cubicles in there and make your little office and appeal to like the commercial and business industry as well. That's when it comes to building structures and buildings, I always keep that in mind. Okay, if I gotta sell this place or building or whatever, I definitely, even when it came to building a homeless shelter and stuff, I would definitely on a homeless shelter have it set up pretty simple where somebody could turn around if you had to, for whatever reason, funding, and because stuff costs money, where you build a homeless shelter and there was no more funding, no more money, and you had to sell the place, you could easily appeal to a lot of people and stuff. That's why a homeless shelter, I would convert it more into something that would resemble more like maybe a motel or type situation, or apartments and stuff, and build mini rooms and stuff, and so that way in the event if I had to sell the shelter for whatever reason, it wouldn't be that hard to have to put up on the market and find a buyer and stuff. Because to me, as you get into building too many custom buildings and stuff, it's just going to be a harder thing to sell later on down the line if you ever have to. You don't live forever. What Jesus said, the wages of sin is death and stuff. So in the near future, if I ever passed away, and the people that whoever's got to take it over can, be able to make it easier on them if they have to, say, we can't run this or we can't do anything with Spirit, we'll have to sell it, also make it easier on them as well. So, yeah. But yeah, I would definitely do want to do like some random giveaways. I'd love to make videos of doing random them giving and stuff. I even, like I said before in one of my live streams, I even thought about it'd be funny to like go to order some random item off from Amazon or Temu or Walmart, whatever, and like I talked about electric guitar and signing it, and then just making a video saying, hey, if you go to this location, then you'll find this electric guitar and get the prize that's inside of it or whatever, do like quirky kind of stuff like that, And the funny thing is, some of that kind of corny stuff does get a lot of views out there on the internet, and yeah, and stuff, and that what kind of amazes me in some of the videos I see that get tons and tons of views, and even me, I've done videos in the past where I'm like, like I would think, oh, this video is going to be a good one, and get a ton of views, and then find out the hard way that I didn't get a ton of views, and then find out the video that I thought would never do well on the internet turns out to be the one that does well, and it's like, So yeah, I definitely on that and stuff like and random other things, like I think it would be neat some of these little motorbikes out there and stuff, I thought it would be neat to buy some of them, and there's a local thrift store near me that I think would be kind of cool to buy a bunch of them little motorbikes and give them to the lady that runs that little thrift store, and give them to her so she could, do like giveaways and give, normally that families that don't have children that are in families that don't normally would get that stuff, have them an opportunity to be able to get a little toy and go away like, here's a bunch of little gas-powered mini bikes, have enough money to buy some of those nice little Coleman mini bikes or Trailmaster ones, the good ones, and go to that lane like, here's three or five, little mini bikes here, do a giveaway and help raise money for your business and cause, and then that way children, families that are not, give families that normally can afford that stuff an opportunity to be able to win something like that, and give their families wonderful memories. Even just, finding out families in need in there, I'd get in touch with her and the churches and stuff, and do a ton of stuff like if I was rich and low with money at the time, and one of the churches came to me and said, oh, we know some people that are in need of a refrigerator, stove, or whatever, I would oh, nothing much. Where people came to me and said, hey, like churches and stuff came to me and said, hey, we know somebody in need that needs a refrigerator, stove, or whatever, kitchen appliance, and starting all over, because then I would, and then if I was rich and low with money, I'd do that. Say, okay, well, go buy them. I tell the church members, since I don't have right now, I don't have a truck or a cargo van or anything to haul stuff like that. I'd be like, well, we just need somebody with a proper vehicle to tote this stuff, and then we'll get them, Because I see, on Facebook, social media, on those Facebook people asking for handouts and stuff, Hey, somebody's homeless. I see those postings on Facebook all the time, on those community pages where people are saying, hey, I know somebody's homeless, they need help, yada, 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 and be able to help them out and stuff, I think it would be cool to do that, Probably what I do in a lot of those situations is I would probably do a talk video, show the item I got, why I got it, talk about it, to encourage others and stuff, and then not film giving it to the people, just film the product, like say if somebody was in need and I was rich and I could afford to give somebody a motorhome or something, or a camper or whatever, and be able to talk about the motorhome and camper. Ooh, somebody's from Greenville, Michigan. I know where that's at. My mother's hometown was on Vesterberg, Michigan, so I know quite a bit about the Montcalm County area. Yeah, because my mother's from that area, from Vesterberg. I used to, as a kid growing up, my parents used to take me to the Greenville Danish Festival, and I always remember the flea market in the park, because I was the kid always buying them. Buying all kinds of toys, and my dad goes, "What do you need that for? It's just gonna end up on the floor broken." But my father would cave and buy it anyways, even though he knew that it wouldn't last very long and end up broken. But yeah, I would love to do that stuff, like Veterans Park for the flea market. Yep, I think, yeah, I remember that. Then I remember Big Boys. They used to, at the Big Boys, used to have the car show there, and then they moved it to the other location. And then I remember, I think they were the ones years ago that even had a little, blocked off one street in Greenville and did a little, like a little carnival stuff. I think one time my parents even went up to the Cedar Springs red flannel festival they used to have or whatever. But yeah, so I remember when they used to have the car show also at the Big Boys restaurant near the strip mall and stuff. And I remember when they used to have a Kmart. Now it's a Hobby Lobby and Five and Below, that old Kmart. And I remember, I don't know how many times I walked up there and thinking to myself, yeah, I remember when this used to be the Kmart store. And I remember when they used to call it Kmart, and then later on they called it Big K, and then they went back to calling it Kmart. Yeah. The funny thing is, Kmart still has a website. I was last night looking at some stuff on the Kmart website. I was just goofing around, like, yeah, I wonder if Kmart still has an online website, and they do. So basically, Kmart is now like an online store. So, but yeah, I used to like shopping at Kmart when I was a kid. I got many Christmas and birthday presents from there. I think that one time when I was a kid, my dad bought for me for a Christmas present a karaoke machine, a little cassette player, funny karaoke machine. So I remember that was the one I had that I used to hook up that karaoke machine had auxiliary port on the back of it, and I used to plug in a record player and use the karaoke machine as a speaker to play the vinyl record player I had. My dad liked that, but he'd get mad at me because he's like, don't you wreck my records, boy. He had and I still got it, I believe, but he had a Kansas record with the ship on the front of it for the album cover, and I said, don't play that Kansas record, that's worth money and stuff. And that was the one that had that Dust in the Wind and a few popular songs on it. And I remember that record, my dad always thought that was worth quite a bit of money, because somebody told him years ago, oh, that was a real popular album, that's worth money. So because the records I had at the time, used to listen to at the time, or whatever my dad had, because we always listened to country music and rock and roll. My mother had a old 45 of the Beatles, when they was part of Apple Records, I think it was, that had the green apple on it. But yeah, that's my goal, is to be able with YouTube try to help people out and stuff, do all kinds of stuff. That's what I don't like bologna. I ate bologna before, but it's just one of those weird meats that I'm like, you ain't gonna get me to eat that, I like ham and turkey. That's when it comes down to sandwich meat. But yeah, I've had it before, and I'm like, ugh, Now my father, he used to like that sandwich meat called olive loaf. I remember one time as a kid, my mother was making making my dad's lunch for work and also making my sack lunch, and I always had just a sandwich with peanut butter on it as a kid. And my mother made a mistake and mixed up the sandwiches and put my dad's sandwich in my lunch, and my dad's getting up with the sandwich that I was supposed to get. And my father, he ate it anyways, but I remember him chewing my mother out. He's like, "Don't do that again. Peanut butter upsets my stomach and makes me have to go to the bathroom." Because my dad always was one of those, in his older age, he had to be careful what he eat, or he'd end up needing a bathroom real fast. Because it would go right through him. But yeah, I don't care for bologna. That's one of those kind of, yeah. That's one of those, I'll give it 2 thumbs down and 1 star because it's nasty. But I know some people out there, they love bologna. Now my dad, he always hated that like German meat stuff. I think they call it like Braunschweiger. Oh, my dad hated that, but my mother, she loved Braunschweiger. My mother, I remember she'd eat that Braunschweiger, and my dad would be like basically to her like, don't smooch me after eating that crap. And also, my dad hated garlic bread. The smell of garlic bread. My mother, she'd make garlic bread and eat it right up, and my dad, he couldn't stand the smell of that. I never really thought about that. What kind of food I would eat for the rest of my life. Well, we're talking about buffets, and I guess I'd probably say either a good Asian buffet or a KFC buffet. But yeah, one food I actually don't know. I'd probably say as far as meat goes, either beef, probably beef would be the thing, or chicken. You know. Probably. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say chicken probably would be the thing, because chicken is cheaper than versus beef. Due to inflation and stuff. You got a little bit of glare there. But yeah, I would that would be it. I seen some YouTubers do videos of walking up to random people and giving them money and different things, and I even thought that would be fun if I ever had a camera crew to do videos like that as well and stuff. But yeah, if I ever was ever to successfully build up this YouTube channel, get tons of subscribers and tons of views, and make all kinds of crazy money on it, I would definitely have a YouTube studio and stuff, and always, have a backup plan. Because one of the things I definitely want to do is be able to build up this YouTube channel, make it successful, help those in need, and also have it set up where I got enough money to help people in need, and then be able to do do other things that I like to do in life as well, like start up my own actual legitimate business of some sort. Like I would like to get into the recreational toy industry and make some recreational toys and stuff, because I know a lot of people really like them little side by sides and stuff, and like mini bikes and go karts. A lot of that stuff nowadays is made so cheap and stuff. Like, I watched a video where these guys bought those little hover hearts mini bikes, and they seen how long they could go until they broke down. And well, they and they were sponsored by the company, but you could tell they were a legitimate reviewer. Then the first one they got, it went quite a few miles. Like they actually did a on the road test where I think they tried to see if they could reach like 100 or 50 miles on the little mini bike, and the company sponsored them. The Hover Hearts sponsored them, and the first mini bike it went really far. The gas mini bike went really far, a good distance, and then the clutch burned up on it, which I don't think these people understand that did the video that every so often you gotta oil up your clutches after so many run time, after so many miles you gotta keep lubing up the clutches on the mini bike, and so the clutch burned up. So they contacted the company. The company sent them another one, and then that one, I guess, wouldn't do anything at all right out of the box. It wouldn't do anything. So I think if I remember right, it's been a while since I watched this video. I think they had to get a third one from the company, and the third one finally worked and stuff. But towards the end, it blew up, and they determined that hover hearts were junk mini bikes and stuff. Because I noticed that with even Coleman and stuff, a lot of them little mini bikes and stuff. If you see them out on the used market, somebody's took the original motor off in it and slapped on a Predator motor and stuff. Because they make them so cheap and junk and high priced. They just throw them together and stuff, and it's crazy. And me, I would make something that you can actually that would last a long time. Something that would be of decent quality, and not just some little poor motor that barely even runs. I'd slap a nice motor on it. Because what I would do is, if I was rich and loaded with money and had this recreational toy company, I'd be tempted to, if I had the money, to buy out like Briggs and Stratton or some major small engine company, buy them out, and then slap legitimate motors on it and make a decent quality little go-kart and motorbike, and not just throw together some cheap junk. Make something that's gonna last, where it will be worth buying. Granted, it's not gonna probably wouldn't be cheap. Because good quality costs money nowadays, and so I would something that would be that you could easily purchase, and it's going to be worth it. Where you at the end of the day you're going to say, "Yep, I definitely got my money's worth, and I'm satisfied and stuff." So I know a lot of these you're just buying scrap metal and stuff. And then I noticed like these like Gold Power Sports is a company that sells mini bike frames and go kart kits, and they're selling these kits, and they're so high expensive. It's like, well, for that price, I can go buy a running Coleman or what the hey Trailmaster go kart mini bike, whatever. Buy it and then just simply rip the stock motor off in it, put a nice Predator motor on it, and for a lot cheaper, be better off. Like actually, the little go kart frame I got out in my garage right now. If I can find the right kind of people, I could for a lot cheaper have that fixed up. Go throw a nice, decent like Predator or a Honda GXT, I think they call them, and be good. What's your favorite sport? Boom, never recalled you ever mention that. I'm actually not a fan of sports. I don't care to watch sports. I was never a sports really person, so like as far as football, basketball, baseball, soccer, I'm not too much into that stuff, or like racing or anything. I don't really care for all that stuff. But yeah, I would definitely would love to get into the kind of like the recreational vehicle industry, and car industry, because there's some products out there I think would be neat to try to make them and stuff. I know in the past some companies have tried, and some failed, some succeeded and stuff. Because I've seen some like little electric vehicles out there on the Asian market that I think would be neat to buy the rights to, and then bring it to America and simply just make it better quality. And just go have a team of experts say, hey, take this product, go through it, and make it better quality where it would last a long time, where it would have at least a decent range on them. Because some of them little electric vehicles only got like a little 30-mile range, and the way they market them at and what they market them as and stuff, that's not very good. You at least would have to make something that has at least a range capacity of like 60 or 70 miles, at least, or 50, you know, like these enclosed mobility scooters. I'd make something that would at least do a maximum. That some of them do like I think 18 miles per hour or something like that. Can't remember, but I would make one if I was making an enclosed mobility scooter, a handicap device. I would make something that would have a maximum range capacity of at least 50 to 60 miles per hour, and something that would be speeds would be like at least 15 miles per hour. I'd make it where you could easily set the controls to where it goes to maximum 15 miles per hour down to like 6 or 7 miles per hour walking speeds, like a normal mobility scooter has, and stuff, and make something that is really really nice quality and stuff, that it's gonna be where a person using it ain't gonna have to worry about, hey, if this thing gonna break down on me and stuff, because obviously, and something that's gonna have decent tires on it, that's gonna handle your normal terrain that a typical person's gonna ride on. Like for example, well, an elderly person going with their grandkids to the local park, and be able to at least drive the little mobility scooter on the grass without any problems and stuff. Because that's what a lot of people would use that for, is to that can't drive regular cars. They're gonna need something that they can quick take a trip to the local grocery store or gas station to get their needs, and then drive it back to the house and stuff, and where it has some various different speeds and stuff. Because you could easily on an enclosed mobility scooter, if you built it right, marketed it right, you could set speeds where have one speed that's for like, you can give it a weird name like off-road use, and then on-road use and stuff. Like a lot of these mobility like these electric bicycles do a lot of times and stuff. They'll have one set of speeds for just you know basically nature trails and certain things, and then for when you're riding in public areas and stuff, and where there's speed limits and speed laws, they'll name it one set of speeds a certain name, and then like the higher speeds for like just what they call off-road use and stuff. And so yeah, you could do things like that. If you could have one truck or car or recreational vehicle, what would it be? Well, as far as recreational vehicles go, I would stick with something basic, some stuff. I like there was some when it comes to like a recreational vehicle. I like something that would be have a multiple use for it and stuff. Like actually me, if I could have recreational vehicle, I'd love to have a tractor like I used to have. I'd get a tractor or something that you can, or like maybe a utility quad or something like that. If I was gonna go with like something that you could use for fun off-road use, I'd probably go with like a utility quad runner or something, a four-wheeler that you could use to do yard work and stuff. If Same thing if I went with like like side. I would like if I had the option to choose from a side by side or a golf cart. I would go with the which one, like a utility golf cart or a utility side by side. I'd go with like a utility side by side and stuff. I would always think about something that you can use in the long run. That'd be more versatile. And now for trucks and stuff and them cars, like pickup trucks, I'd either look at if I had the money for a pickup truck, I'd be either looking at the Dodge Ram pickup trucks, because they're really popular and a common thing. So it would be easy to find a mechanic that works on Dodge Ram pickup trucks because they're highly popular in the construction industry and stuff, or a Ford pickup. Now, what I wish I could find if I had the money right now to do it, I would, if one came along and it was in really good shape, I would 100% snag it up if I could find a nice Ford Ranger, because I had a 2000 Ford Ranger. It was a four-wheel drive with the I think it was a 4.0 V6 motor. It had the big Ford V6 in it, and that was a super good little truck. And I could do quite a bit what I wanted with it. Right now I'm kind of leaning towards cargo vans and stuff for hauling and stuff. So I'm more when I have enough money to say, hey, I can do some car shopping. I'm definitely going to be looking at more of probably a cargo van or minivan. And again, when it comes to vehicles, I would stay with whatever is kind of the most common out there. That so that way, if I have to get it worked on or something, it's gonna make it easier on the mechanics instead of some weird oddball, vehicle. Like I think Toyota and Honda make some a pretty popular minivan and stuff, and so I'd probably look at one of those. Now, as far as cargo vans go, I would either look at like the Ford Transit Connect or the Dodge Ram Sprinter or whatever. Yeah. Well, that's what I would do as far as vehicles go. Either some sort of pickup truck or cargo slash minivan, passenger van or whatever. I even thought about for like since I'm part of a Bible study group, I even thought about one time getting like a short bus, one of those short buses and stuff, so that way the Bible study group, if we wanted to, we could get together and go travel in some places and stuff, like go to Shipshewana to down to Indiana to Shipshewana and stuff to their flea market auctions, or there's a town over by me called Vermontville, Michigan, Vermontville, and they have a Amish family that puts on a auction every so often, and maybe do a trip there and stuff. Yeah, I actually one time drove a Jaguar. One time I needed a car really bad and got this Jaguar, and then I found out the hard way that was inexpensive. And that thing had a funky European key, and stuff, and so I learned the hard way about foreign cars. When I got rid of it, the local mechanics garage down here, Real Pro Auto, that I use and recommend them, they were glad that I got rid of that car. I'm like, because I told them one time like about how I got rid of it and stuff. And they're like, yeah, me and you both were glad, because they had a time because getting parts for it. Well, it needed a radiator, and the radiator, just for the radiator itself, the part that was over $900, where it was going to be over $1,000 just to put a new radiator and stuff in it. And what I did was that Jaguar is because by then I had another car, and so I ended up giving the car to to somebody that didn't have a car and to let them fix it up. And I told them, if you can't fix it up for whatever reason, your mechanic don't think it'd be worth, putting money into and fixing up or whatever, then you guys just take the car, sell it, and take the money and put it in. Yeah, they're expensive. This one I had was a 2005 Jaguar. It was basically a beater with a heater type car. Back back when the car was built brand new, it was a luxury, high end, fancy car. But yeah, and then when I got in the car, I realized, no wonder Ford Motor Company sold the Jaguar brand, because that car was made back when Ford Motor Company was making the Jaguar, and I guess they didn't do very too good at making them, and they were high maintenance vehicles. And so Ford sold it off to a company now. I think that's in India that makes the Jaguar now. And I don't even know if Jaguar's even made yet to this day. Because I remember that Jaguar needed some part in the transmission, and it was it was one of them that was like what they call their sport edition, where you had your regular automatic driving and you had the little numbers on the one side, and it was like the sports race package or whatever. I'll admit it was a nice car. If if it would have been in repair wise would have been in better shape than what it was. It drove smooth, and it was nice, but it was just at that point where things were breaking down, and you just had to put money into it to make it nice again. You would have, it was at the point where it starts nickeling and diming you and stuff, and so I ended up getting another vehicle, and then I drove that, and then parked the Jaguar until I gave it to my friend, and then he ended up taking it, having a mechanic look at it to stuff, because my one friend was a missionary and at the time, and he came back to the United States and needed a vehicle, so I gave it to him. He took it to his mechanic. His mechanic's like, oh, it's going to cost all kinds of money to fix it, and then he just ended up selling it to the mechanic, and the mechanic's like, well, for you people, it would just be too much money to fix, but I'll buy the car off you. The mechanic bought the car off of him, and then he took that money and used it to buy a little bit a better car that suited him. Because I told him, like, hey, you can have this car for free. We got it for free. And so I'll pass it on to you, and pay it forward. And if you can't do anything with the car, then sell it, take the money, and get you a car that you can use. And he did just that, and was grateful. And I think he ended up buying like a little Toyota, little Honda, little 4-cylinder, nice little 4-cylinder car, and that wasn't better. Right when they're new, but turned into money pits, right? A lot of high-end luxury cars are like that, where you just once they get like over 200,000, 100,000 miles, then it becomes they become a pain in the neck. I I look I wouldn't, if I liked the car when it did drive good. It was kind of you could tell it had that smoothness to it, but yeah. Now, if I had ever had lots of money to own a high end luxury car, no, I definitely wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I would even if I was a millionaire, billionaire type person, I'd stay away from that stuff. The only time I'd be riding around in a high end luxury car if the company that would chauffeur me around, if I hired a chauffeur company to chauffeur me around, take me around stuff, if they were using high end luxury cars, that's the only time you'd ever see me anymore ride in one. But yeah. But yeah, my intentions and goals with this YouTube channel is to be able to make enough money where I can help out those in need and do the Lord's work and stuff. Um, I know somebody mentioned, don't know where the comment went to about what's your or this AP drum, what's your favorite Bible verse? I really don't have a favorite Bible verse per se, but the one that always comes to mind in my mind when it comes to Bible verses when it comes to Bible verses is the one that in John talks about in the beginning the Word was the Word and stuff, talking about the very beginning how God gave the words and commands, the Word was the Word and stuff. That would be, I guess I'd say, the favorite one. Well, I'd probably let you hang out if I wasn't, had free time and stuff, but I also work away with a daytime job as well, so. Now, if I was rich and loaded with money and a millionaire by then, then there's a chance there'd be a chance I'd probably, fans and stuff say, hey, I'm going to be doing a travel video. Come along, when I get to that point and stuff. Because I would do that on YouTube, do travel videos and certain videos and invite fans to be on the channel and stuff, give people the opportunity to give people an opportunity to be kind of in the spotlight that normally don't get to be in the spotlight, Like, yeah, I'd buy your steak dinner just because you're great. Yeah. Yeah. Because I thought about doing some in the near future when I had the funds to do that sort of stuff and had a camera crew and everything. Do like challenge videos and stuff. Because I'd like to get some really good knowledgeable like editors and stuff, and in a variety of camera people that know how to do filming and know how to get that perfect shot, that perfect angle and stuff, and in the near future and stuff, Because I like to have a variety, have both male and female camera crews as well, so that way later on I could film or film stuff for the female audience and stuff, and then have awesome males for doing male stuff and different things, and try to and then have videos where involves both male and female people as well to build up a better audience and stuff, and I guess you call it be more diverse. I guess that's the word you want to use. Yeah, because the goal would be is to bring a bunch of people together and do videos and and just simply have fun. That's like helping those in need and stuff. When I do those types of videos and stuff, I'm doing it because it's fun. Have fun with it and stuff. Get creative, think about it. Yeah, yeah. I would definitely, if somebody wanted to do like if we had to do background music for whatever reason, wouldn't mind. Yeah. Yeah. Usually the music I use and stuff in my videos are just whatever the YouTube Creator Studio has in their library free to use. But I try not to too much get involved in having a whole lot of music and stuff because you have to be careful because sometimes some of that stuff can be copyrighted and stuff. Some websites will have where you can download free copyright music, but sometimes the audio file you download might not always be actually copyrighted free, where the website didn't realize that hey this song's copyrighted and stuff, so you gotta definitely be careful and stuff. And then some of the songs and stuff you also gotta pay what they call I think arbitrary to creator and stuff, and make sure you mention them in the description or in the video or stuff, like where you gotta put music made by so and so and stuff, and I tend to try to choose music files that where the person that created it, like, hey, I don't care if you give me credits or whatever, where they say no arbitrarily needed or whatever and stuff, you know where somebody just made a music song, and they just threw it out there on the internet, and they don't care if people know who made it, what they and stuff. Yeah, I noticed that and stuff. Oh, in the past, like I made like little videos using music and stuff on Facebook and things, and then Facebook would later on send me a little trying message about, oh, we don't like this, and it would be one, because I've in the past I made like little videos and stuff for only where my Facebook friends could see it, not public, and they still cried about it and stuff. And so I'd go back and delete the file, delete the posting or whatever. Now, one thing I had happened to me, I used to have my Facebook Reels monetized, but because I accidentally uploaded a video to Facebook, and then I made a mistake of uploading it to Instagram. They cried about it and then said, we're not going to monetize your reels, your Facebook reels, so I don't get monetized for videos on Facebook. Now, when I make public posts and stuff, I do make a little money off on public posts. Like if I upload a picture I took, or whatever picture, then I get can get money off that, or I make a text post or whatever, I make a little few cents off of it and stuff. It's really hard on social media to get money. No, actually what happened was is I took a video of a thunderstorm, lightning storm, and I accidentally I really wanted. We had a storm that was had actually about a couple miles from us. There was a tornado that touched down and stuff. I'm still monetized on Facebook on certain stuff, but it's just not the videos. But and then I made but yeah, I made that one Trump video I made got really a lot of attention. There was one Trump posting I made that I deleted it because people were personally attacking one another in the comment section, and I just deleted it because I was getting sick and tired of all the actual fighting and stuff, and there was some physical threatening going on there where I thought, I'm just gonna, for the safety of the people that were commenting on the video, I thought, I'm gonna delete the posting and stuff, and then I later on uploaded another Trump posting and stuff. Yes, I am doing very good. Oh, my impersonation of an Indian person from India. Oh, I'm doing very good. How's your cut warranty doing? I remember when I used to have landline telephone service. Oh, I'd get those fake Microsoft scammers and I'm calling about your car's warranty, and I would joke with them like, dude, my car's a Model T. How can I have a warranty still? Oh, I mess with them so much. I love wasting them idiots' time. Because what they would do is because landline telephone service, your number's public, so they would assume that, it's a landline number, he's probably some old geezer, and thinking they're gonna, scam me when they don't realize that I'm 35 years old and I know a thing or two. Or the funny one, they try to act like some family member, and it's like, really? You're my family member, huh? I think I one time had one that said something about your son, and I'm like, dude, I have no kids, so. And I told the guy, I'm like, dude, if you saw what I really look like, you would see why I have no children. If anyone, because if anyone wanted to, be with me in that way, well, the first thing she's going to do is get a paper bag and say, hey, put this over your face. She'd have to be really hard up. But yeah. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I want to do is some stuff like, do random giveaways and give to people and stuff. Some of that stuff will be on camera. A lot of it will probably be off camera out of respect and stuff because I want to be respectful of people's situation. I want to make it clear I'm not doing this garbage for publicity stunts and make all kinds of money and make my life all comfortable and stuff. It's truly to do what God calls us to do. God wants us to help those in need and stuff. So yeah, that's why I want to do a lot of that. Because it would be fun to do that stuff. I think about that stuff all the time. Like I even thought about in the past. Oh, if I had the money to buy this and this and this, and I would on Halloween in October on Halloween do giveaways where I'd set up my little canopy and hand out raffle tickets to people and say, be back at my house at such and such a time for the giveaway and give children an opportunity to win stuff. And then and then and then also, when I make enough off on YouTube, I think it would also be funny to do like review videos of certain items that have like weight capacities and stuff on it, like the more gas power motorbikes and electric motorbikes. See how good they are, how crap they are, and do videos about it and stuff, and then have hire actors and crews and try to come up with my own TV shows and stuff and writers and make like a production company. Like I said, make my YouTube channel, like a TV show. So, because I would like to, as a recreational company, and then build a recreational company down the line. That would be my biggest goal. Like I got an idea of, I think it would be neat to make a replica of a certain car that was built back in the 1800s, 1900s, and be able to bring that car back and be able to market it to the market as like a little recreational toy. Because my idea is to make a little gasoline powered car where you just hop in it, pull the ripcord and stuff like a lawnmower, and then off you go. I haven't really thought about that and stuff. I haven't looked into that when it comes to reading the Bible. Currently, right now, when it comes to reading the Bible, I'm more reading into the Old Testament and then working my way towards the New Testament and stuff. Right now, on my cell phone, I have a little Bible app, and during my when I'm at work, before I start my shift, I spend about an hour, 30 minutes. I'm reading the Bible and stuff, and I'm currently right now in Deuteronomy here. Right now reading Deuteronomy and working my way towards the New Testament and stuff. I'm not very well versed in the Holy Bible and stuff. So as far as like certain stuff and meanings and stuff, I'm fresh to it. I'm a beginner at it and stuff. And I'm slowly but surely working my way towards reading the Bible and stuff and getting more into the Lord. Because again, this stuff, if it wasn't for Jesus Christ of Nazareth, this stuff would never be possible. And so that's why I'm big on helping those in need, because it's what the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth wants us to do, and that's what I want to do, is do things that the Lord will be pleased with. It's all about serving the Lord. Like in the Bible, it says there will be people saying, Lord, 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 and that's what I'm going to be, is that guy saying, Lord, 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 this is what I want to do. And then I keep praying and praying. And the Bible says, believe and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. That's why I'm doing live streaming. One day God put it in my head, like, hey, why don't you try doing some live streaming and stuff? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of churches out there that want, like, oh, you don't need to read the Old Testament, you just gotta read the New Testament. Well, you're only gonna get half of the story and stuff. Cause see the Holy Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, everything is like interlocked together and stuff. Where when you start reading into certain chapters and certain things, it all webs together. It's like a spider making a big giant cobweb and stuff. It's all intertwined together because sometimes you might read something in the New Testament and thinking, huh, I wonder why Jesus said that. So then you got to go back and read the Old Testament and then up like, oh, that makes sense. Because, well, first of all, the laws of Moses. That's one thing. Jesus talks about in the New Testament, the laws of Moses. If you're just reading in the New Testament, you won't know anything about the Ten Commandments, the laws of Moses, and you only get like the gist of it, where you have to go back to Leviticus and Exodus and Deuteronomy and learn all about that. How did the laws of Moses came to be and stuff. You got to read the whole Bible to understand everything, because God wants us to understand how He is and stuff. Because one part shows Him being this kind, loving person, and then it shows Him being that tough, loving Heavenly Father, laying down the laws. Because when Moses wanted to free the people from Egypt, God said He's going to hearken His heart, meaning that the Pharaoh is going to be stubborn and is going to still say no, 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 until finally God punished him in a way that made the Pharaoh say, you know what, I better listen. And then, even after that, the Pharaoh said, you know what, on second thought, I'm going to go back and get these people and say, no, you're coming back to Egypt. And then what did God do? He parted the waters for Moses. He waited until all of his people crossed, and then the Pharaohs followed, and then that's when God put the water, drowned the Pharaoh and stuff. He closed up the split waters, and that's why nowadays in the Red Seas and in that area and stuff, if you dive underwater, you will see chariots. You will see the Egypt chariots and stuff in the water, and there is proof and evidence of that event truly happening and stuff. All around the world, you can even go to the spot where the original Noah Ark rested on. You know, and and then scientists have dug up pieces of wood from Noah's Ark and stuff and confirmed, hey, this wooden ship here, and all that stuff. Even the prophets of Baal, even the Jezebel and the Baal, there for the longest time, there was still part of the temple that once was the house where they did the worshiping of Baal, the false god and stuff, and that was there for a long time. But I think some terrorist organization, they blew that thing up a long time ago, a few years back. But yeah, for the longest time, there was still like the front wall entrance of the old, what used to be the temple of Baal that Jezebel had created and stuff. Her false religion, and Elisha. More proof that Elijah did what he did to prove to people, hey, that Baal's a false god. A lot of people are always acting like, oh, Jesus is not the truth and the life and the way. Well, He is the truth. Yeah, I think I've seen some random videos on the internet of people talking about Noah's Ark and the mountain where it's at and stuff, where there has been coverings of proof that it was there. Yeah, because it was on I think what they call Mount Ararat or whatever. They found, I think, pieces and stuff of Noah's Ark, like little bits and pieces, and which confirms and stuff, and they took pictures of the area, aerial images and stuff, and you could tell it looks like at one time something was there and stuff, or like the moss and grass and over time built up on it. Because the videos I've seen about that were just like random Instagram short reels and different things from like random documentaries that are up there on the internet and stuff. But yeah, there's tons of proof out there. Like you can go to Egypt, Jerusalem, and stuff, and you can even visit the site where Jesus' cross was, the little the upper room where the Last Supper happened and stuff. You can see all that stuff. There's a lot out there. So yeah, there's ton. 6:43. But yeah, there's a ton of videos out there and proof and evidence of Jesus Christ real. He is the real Messiah. He is the Lord of all lords, King of all kings. And if you don't know him, then well, guess what? You're not. And you don't know him and you don't repent, God's going to say, away with you, I do not know of you and stuff. I will personally admit right now, I'm not the greatest worshiper, follower of God. I'm a sin. I fall short of the glory of God and stuff, and we'll acknowledge that. But every day I try my best to, hey, keep following the Lord, keep worshiping the Lord, try to stay away from sinning and stuff. Now we always can't all stay away from sin. We always can't, stop sinning. The day we stop sinning, the day we really be like God, and that's not gonna happen. God has it all planned out where the wages of sin is death and stuff, and so you can't sin. So yeah. Boom, Trumper 69. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the leftists used to call Trump supporters Trumper humpers. I remember that. Yeah. Oh, it's funny with all the stuff Donald Trump's doing. If it was some other president and stuff, everybody would be, yay. If it was a Democrat, yay, praise the Democrat and stuff. It's all because those people that are against what Trump's doing in Iran and stuff. It's all because money, money, money. That's all it is. They're getting paid, and since Trump's doing what he's doing, the people that were paying the corrupted people are now pissed off, and because they're no longer the leftists are no longer getting their finances from those. Because it was back then it was, hey, what's in it for me and stuff, and money, money, money. So that's what happens with a lot of that political stuff. It's all about money, and Trump knew that, and so Trump's putting a stop to it. Had somebody out walking their dogs. Well, my opinion on the war in Iran, they needed to be stopped, because if Iran would have been able to successfully build a long-range nuclear weapon of mass destruction, they would have tried to nuclear attack the United States. I support Donald Trump and what he's doing, so that's all I'm going to say on that. I support Donald Trump, so. Nah, I haven't never met Donald Trump and probably won't. But if Donald Trump ever came across my YouTube channel and saw it and wanted to donate money towards my cause, hey, he's more than welcome to. Sad. Message retracted. Well, the problem was some Iranians, they were funding terrorist, jihadist organizations and stuff, and so that's why that they needed to be stopped. They're wicked. They're the Ayatollah. Yeah, that's okay. The Ayatollah is a wicked person. He was an evil person. He was of Satan, the devil, and needed to be stopped. The Ayatollah who took over Iran would persecute Christians and non-believers of the Islamic and the Prophet of Muhammad. That's what Muslims do. As Muslims in the Quran preach, they call it infidels, those that do not follow the religion or do not follow the prophets of Muhammad. they encourage their people to behead them, kill them, murder them. That's what Muslims do. Is they're not a religion of peace, and they never will be, because they are a false teaching and false preaching. And I will, and I know the Bible talks about, oh, thou shalt not swear, but I'll say this: I will stand on my very grave and will in front of them people, and I will acknowledge that Jesus Christ of Nazareth is the Lord of all lords, King of kings. He is the Alpha and Omega. And like many other preachers have said in the past, where is Muhammad? I'll tell you where Muhammad is. He is in hell with Satan the devil, and that's where he'll be for eternity for the sins that he had committed. I guarantee you, when Muhammad, the prophet, their so-called Islamic prophet, died, the first person he saw was Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and Jesus he had lots to say. I guarantee you, Jesus was not, he was angry. You make God mad, and then you make God mad, you piss God off, you make him mad, angry, it's the end. And then that's when Muhammad, he met Jesus, and when he met Jesus, it was too late. The Muslim people, they follow Satan the devil. Satan has entered in their kingdom and did not leave. That's why they preach of killing people. Because they know deep down truly that Jesus Christ of Nazareth is the truth, the life, and the way. And they can't stand that. Satan hates that. So Satan is using the Muslim religion, Islam, to do his dirty work. Because Satan ain't got the guts to do it himself, so he's got to use other people. Yeah, Buddhists, there's a lot of, Satan uses a lot of false religions. Because he can't do, he's too, I look at it, Satan's too much of a pussy to come up here on earth and do it himself in his own flesh. Because Satan knows that it hurts God to deceive people. Because Satan, he wants to be like God. He wanted to all the time when he was up in heaven. At one time, Satan was in God's kingdom and wanted to be like God. He went to Jesus and said, I want your position. You're going to give it to me. And Jesus said no, and told him, away with you, and kicked him and his followers out and sent them to hell. And Satan has no chance. And there's people out there will say, well, God's such a loving, kind person. Why don't he let him give Satan a second chance? Give him a second chance. Well, Satan was in a realm where there is no time. Jesus says in the Bible, you commit one sin, you have committed them all. That's why we are put in a realm that is of time. God put us here in this realm so we can have time to come to know him, worship him, follow him, be good teachers, and say, Lord, have mercy on us, forgive me for my sins, and all that stuff. That's why we are in this time. So when that day comes, he takes us out of this realm. We can go meet him, and then he can make that decision to whether or not we need to be in heaven or hell. It's all about, and the Bible even talks about even Christian churches out there that claim to be of God. We'll not even get in. There will be popes, priests, pastors, people who claim for years and years and years that they were a follower of Christ. Mm-hmm. And even people that claim to, I go to church every day, I worship the Lord, blah, blah, blah. Even some of them will not even enter in the kingdom of heaven. And Jesus will say, away with you, for it is written, I do not know of you. Jesus is currently, right now, writing a book. You know how in Christmas time, the song by Santa Claus, they have the song Santa. He's making a list, he's checking it twice. You know where they get that from? The Bible. Because Jesus is making a list of people he wants to enter into heaven and stuff. And like the Jewish people, they don't acknowledge him. They don't acknowledge that Jesus is the Messiah. The Jews were the ones who denied Jesus, his own people. Jesus was a Jewish person who over 2,000 years ago was born and raised in Bethlehem, in Judea, in Nazareth. He was in Nazareth, and he told these people, I am from God. And what did the Jewish people do? They said, you are not the Messiah, you are not the prophet, and stuff. And God's like, okay. He was nice about it. They hanged him on the cross because they thought he was a blasphemer and liar, and they found out the hard way. And they're doing it, and even to this day, they still acknowledge. A lot of those rabbis and Jewish rabbis, so I think they call them their pastors and stuff, will sit there and say, Jesus is not the Messiah. He's not the Messiah. Jesus is not the Messiah. And they'll deny him. They'll deny Jesus as the prophet, the Messiah, like their ancestors did. And God's going to punish them. That's why they're talked about sacrificing the red heifer and doing a sacrifice. Jesus dying on the cross was the sacrificial lamb and stuff. But Jesus dying on the cross was the final sacrifice. Jesus said when he saw them doing in the market, selling animals for sacrificing and treating his father's house as basically a flea market and stuff, buying and selling, he said, my father does not know of this house anymore. This is not my father's house. And he said, for as long as this temple was up, there to be no more sacrificing going on in here. He cut that out. He took a whip and he made himself and went in there and destroyed the temple and said, in 3 days, he said, right out, Jesus said this, he said, it took 40 years to build that temple. And he said, in 3 days, I will have this tore down when there will be no stone left. That's why, you go to Jerusalem, you go to these areas, and it's not the same anymore because a lot of that was destroyed because Jesus destroyed it because he was mad that the people did not acknowledge that the Messiah had came. Because long ago, the prophets, Isaiah, the prophets of Moses, they all talked about one day a Messiah is going to come. There is going to be a Messiah that is going to come and introduce himself to the world. And that he did. Jesus was the Messiah. He was the Alpha and Omega. He was the was revealed in the flesh. He was the Messiah, and at that time the people denied it. They said, you are not the prophet, Jesus. You are not the truth. You're not the life. You're not the way. They called him a blasphemer. Even the rabbis to preach, and the rabbis even acknowledged him and stuff, and tried to test him and stuff, and you watch that TV show about Jesus Christ, the Chosen and stuff, where he said to the Pharisees, woe to you Pharisees, before that you even preach it. And God talks about his own Christian pastors and stuff that are preaching and leaving the followers astray. He says, woe to you Pharisees, for you don't even enter in the kingdom of heaven, and nor do you let your people come into the heaven. And stuff, and that's the problem. Well, I don't know what his favorite pop would be, but people don't realize that Jesus always said to the Pharisees, woe to you Pharisees. He even acknowledged that there'd be Christian pastors out there going to hell for not preaching and stuff and doing what they say. He said, you do the work, but even yourself don't go in. That's why the old saying, reap what you sow. If you're going to tell people to do this and this and this, well, like the Democratic Party does. The Democratic Party always talks about, we need to help people. We need to let immigrations in and all this stuff. and they themselves don't even do it. You go to round up a bunch of immigrants, and you go to a Democrat's house and say you're going to take these people in. They don't want them there, and these Democrats, I'm talking about, walls don't work and borders and blah blah blah. But yet you go to a Democratic political South, they got a big old giant fence around their property, just like Rich and Whitmore. They always tell you need to do this and do that, but rules for thee, but not for me and stuff. It's crazy. Actually, I don't go to any church. I just believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord of all lords, King of all kings and stuff. The only church I guess you can say I attend is I watch a guy in Sydney, Australia named Bishop Maria Emanuel on his live stream and stuff. But yeah, these people they don't get it, Well, it should be on my location there of the live stream. Yeah. Yeah, we actually the people that used to own that church building, they sold it off, and so now it's just gonna be some residential house. It used to be a church, but then it got sold off, and somebody's, I think, trying to convert it into like an apartment. Yeah, it's definitely 100% not a church anymore. And the reason why is because of the zoning laws and stuff. The property is too small, so zoning and stuff wouldn't allow it to be a place of worship anymore. Actually, it would have been kind of comical if some Islamic person would have tried to buy it and turn it into a mosque. Boy, would I be having little paper signs out saying that Jesus is the truth and the life and the way. But yeah, these people wanna murder people that worship Christ. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I say, you know, they can kill the body, but they can't kill the spirit or the flesh. They can take out the flesh. But yeah, somebody's just buying that old building that used to be a church and gonna, I think, make it a rental, like apartment housing. What the heck? Whereby they just had dollar signs. But whatever they're doing with it, hope it works out for them. Of course, then again, if some Muslim would have bought it, they would have put a tower on it and then had their little stupid prayer to call speakers and stuff. Well, yeah, all those people that don't worship Jesus Christ, they're all going to face punishment. We sin, we face punishment. But yeah. But that's the main reason why my goal is to help out those in need and stuff. Is because that's what God wants me to do, and that's what I'm called to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Yeah, because I know their Islamic has their little prayer siren, prayer call siren thingies and stuff, and I do like. I saw the video of the Catholic Pope. He got invited to some other religion's house of worship, and he did not pray in that at all. And I thought that was beautiful and stuff, because like you're not allowed to. The Bible preaches like if you go into a let's see. Actually, I'd have to look into all the. Well, Israel is helping Trump do the Iran thing, and I always tell people, you want to know how I feel about all that stuff? I stand with Trump. That's what I call it. So, yeah. But I'm not gonna get too much into that whole. But yeah, that's why I want to help out those in need, is because that's what God calls us to do, and that's what I'm going to try to do, and God's going to make it an interesting journey for me, and that's the whole point and goal and stuff. So yeah, I know some people like to ask all these political stuff because they want to get the rise and and stuff. Oh, it's funny. You get I notice on social media as soon as you put something about Donald Trump, you get all these social media platforms getting all angry and mad and stuff, and they try to do crap. You also get um um George Sorrow back paid people and stuff. And yeah, CBC in Bridgeton. I think Brighton there. If you're talking about Brighton, Michigan, I think that might be quite a ways away. But yeah, there's I forgot what I was. But yeah, there's some social media. They don't like the truth. I'm in Texas, crazy. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of churches out there. Like in my little town, there are so many churches. That's why this church next door to me couldn't make it because they had a low congregation because nobody came to it because there were so many other churches in the area and stuff. Oh, if I would have had the money and stuff and could have bought that building, I would have just turned it into something to help the community, like a soup kitchen and a housing missionary housing for missionaries and stuff. Just put a bunch of bedrooms in there and then keep the main floor a place of worship and add a kitchen and then I'm basically making a place where missionaries could stay and live and stuff. Since I'm in between two big cities, the Capitol building and stuff, I thought that would have made it perfect. I don't know. I don't know what churches are for Christ and which ones are not. I think the Sharonat Community Church is what they call a non-denominational church, but I'm not going to get into badgering churches and stuff. Jesus wants us to be kind and loving and stuff. If I say if there's a church out there that's religion churches out there that are being evil and wicked toward for Satan or for Satan and stuff, Jesus will send the proper people to handle that situation and stuff. Just like what he did with the fundamentalist Mormons and that Warren Jeffries and stuff. That Warren Jeffries was a evil satanic man and God fixed him. God sent proper people and took care of it and stuff. The same thing he's doing with the elite and stuff that are worshiping Satan and those Illuminati and all that stuff. God's bringing all that stuff to light, like punishing all those wicked people and things. But yeah, my goal is to just do what the Lord wants me to do. Help out those in need and build up this YouTube channel. And I have a medical condition. Do you? The only medical condition I have is I'm hard of hearing. That's all I have. I just have to one of these days buy some hearing aids and then I'd be good to go and also glasses. Sometimes get my vision checked too. So I'm just hard of hearing. I don't know what you're getting at there, Bobby Hill. But yeah, my goal is to simply help out those in need and do what the Lord asks and stuff. I want to do a lot of kind of giving and stuff. Because I think about it'd be neat to give away some fun stuff, and then I also think about how neat it would be to help out people like yeah. Oh, you mean like danger and stuff? Yeah, I suffer from that dangerous stuff too. But I had that issue. I have that issue before, dandruff and stuff, and I just use old standard old Schwab shampoo, the cheap stuff, you know. I don't pay attention to all those fancy shampoos and deodorants. I just use whatever's cheap. But if you're talking about dandruff, I'm sick in my head. Yeah, but my goal is to help out those in need and do some giving and stuff. Like I know about some people that are actually currently living in a car, and I always thought it would be neat to make enough money to get them a nice like motorhome or minivan or a camper. Um, Now the local government knows about these people being homeless and stuff because I think the village gave them a key so they would have access to the public bathrooms when they were closed down for the season and stuff. And and I'd almost be tempted if the government, local government here, because we have zoning ordinances and stuff, so I'd have to check with the zoning ordinance and talk to the village. And I'd almost be tempted out back here, get a nice little camper and let them stay in the camper and stuff for temporary, but. Well, yeah, I'm going to build a homeless shelter with showers and everything. Because what I'm going to do is I'd build little rooms that would have private bathrooms and stuff. It have the standard amenities like a almost like a motel would have and stuff. I talked about that before. So my goal would be is to build a homeless shelter that would have amenities and stuff where there'd be shower rooms and all that stuff. You know, it'd be when I got the money at the time be able to say, hey, when I got the money to do this, you know, make it happen, and go from there. I would get more in depth into that once I got the money. First, just try to build up this channel to make the money to be able to do that sort of thing and stuff. But, yeah. But yeah, these people. Well, if I was a billionaire right now, these people, I'd be buying them land and a house and stuff. In case you're wondering what I'm drinking, Mellow Yellow from Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola. Yeah, I'm struggling. Yeah, a lot of people are struggling and stuff. And right now, I'm not making enough money off from YouTube to be able to and help people out and stuff like I want. So, but later on down the line, I do want to help out those in need. But you gotta first make videos to try to get there. But that's the main goal of this channel, is to be able to yeah, I always used to drink first when I was a kid. I used to drink Mountain Dew all the time, and then I a lot of times because it's cheaper, I drink all the time Fago Moon Mist when I get it because it's the cheapest pop out there. So, and I also like the Shasta's version of their Mountain Dew and stuff. Mountain Mist, I think they call it. I remember as a kid, I used to also drink Save-A-Lot's Mountain Howler, but really sorry about what. Yeah, you take care. But yeah, I wanna do stuff like I thought about. We need to get a program for to do giveaways on my YouTube channel. Also, be able to film doing some maybe around Halloween time some giveaways as well and stuff. I'm always at my work buying food and giving to my co-workers food and stuff because we have at my place of work we have a little table in the break room where the company will set out food and stuff for employees to enjoy and eat and stuff. And then sometimes I'll buy like a bulk thing of cookies or donuts and stuff and put them out for people and stuff to enjoy. And so yeah, yep, you take care. But yeah, and so I'm big on that stuff. It's like I'm always thinking about like, oh man, it'd be fun to do this and this and this and and stuff. So yeah, I'm always thinking about that and stuff, and thinking to myself, oh Lord, why don't you give me the money to do that? Like these people down here, I actually quite a bit look on the internet trying to think about, okay, how can I come up with the money to buy a nice little camper and give it to them? Because I don't know these people's situation or how they became homeless that are living in their car. All I know is, hey, there's some people living in the parking lot of a gas station living in the car, and I don't know if they lost their house due to a house fire or whatever. I don't know what the reason is, but they're living in the car, and I think it would be neat if they had maybe like a relative or a family member that could that had some property out in the country that they could they if they had some property, a family member's property out in the country, I think it would be neat to get them a camper and so and if they said, yeah, I got a family member that will let me live on their property out in the country, then give them the camper and then they can live in it for as long as they want, and then say, hey, when you're done with it, go sell it. Actually, I don't know any magic tricks. I never cared to pay attention to magic magicians. I remember as a kid, my dad always liked watching that show called The Masked Magician, and that was about it when it came to magic shows. And then plus, when the local fair would have some little magician guy that would. No, I believe in the Holy Bible. I don't believe in all that magic stuff. The only magic that I believe in is what Jesus Christ of Nazareth can do. The only one that can perform miracles and magical stuff is Jesus Christ of Nazareth, because he can make the impossible possible. Like if one day he wanted to turn me into a lady, Jesus could do that. He's that type of person, which I hope he doesn't. He wouldn't do that, but it would be funny to wake up next morning and be like, ah! Sitting there like, how did I get boobs? What the heck? And I'd be really crying, Lord, what did you do? What did you do? Because Jesus can make anything that seems impossible possible. So, you know. Well, that's why he blessed me with this YouTube channel and stuff, because he knows my heart's intentions. He knows that I want to help out those in need, and he's helping me along the way. And that's why I keep making these videos talking about it, because eventually I'll make enough money where I can finally do it and say, aha, I can do it, and then I'm going to do it. And then I always give praise to God, to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, all the glory to him and stuff, Yeah. Oh, it's getting chillier out here and stuff, so. Yeah, let's see what time it is. Yeah. Well, yeah, there will be a day on this one. Oh, it's in Jerusalem, in Bethlehem, in the town of Judea. It's in the Middle East. Well, yeah, my goal and intentions on this YouTube channel is to find out ways to help out those in need and stuff. That's why I always talk about making my YouTube channel bunch of different content and making it kind of like a TV station where you have a variety of different contents and stuff. Because, well, people people don't have a whole lot of money out there and stuff, and there ain't a whole lot of free stuff out there anymore these days, and so that's why I'm doing and stuff. That's why I don't care to do the membership stuff, because like I don't, I know nobody, a lot of people don't have a whole lot of money, and I wouldn't want to, oh, exclusive content, become a member, and I don't care to do all that stuff, because to me, one thing, if you go I have in the past on cooking videos, I plan on doing a cooking video out back using my little grill and stuff, a video idea for cooking and stuff. But yeah, I have in the past done cooking videos. I don't really care to do cooking videos a whole lot, because I'm no cook at all. I'm one of those guys that my cooking is just throwing something in the microwave and calling it a day. But I had thought about doing like a little cooking, grilling video. But yeah. But yeah, my big goal is what about drinks combos? I plan on in the near future, if I see a snack item or something that I think we kind of need to do a video about, if it whatever kind of hits me, yeah, I'll do like a taste test drink. Now I don't care to drink alcohol or anything, so I don't care to do mixed drinks or any alcoholic beverages, because I don't like drinking. I don't care to do that stuff. Have I done it in the past? Yes, but I don't care to do that stuff. So when people say, "Oh, you should do videos about alcohol and stuff," you ain't gonna see that. I don't think it's appropriate for people to drink and stuff. Yeah, Jesus turned water into wine, but I don't think it's appropriate, Because actually drinking alcohol does to me, I feel like there's more harm than good. Oh, I've been on here for an hour, only 4 or 5 people. I know that one day when I first, it's been the first, I say first official live stream, man, I did really good at getting lots and lots of people interested, but I think it was just one of those where I had the right kind of title and stuff, and a bunch of people popped on, and then it also depends on what time of the day you start a live stream and do different things and stuff. But yeah, that's why I do these live streams. But yeah, let's see what time is it. Well, I guess I'll probably I've been on here for over 2 hours, and I might cut the cut off the live stream, but cause I got some other things I gotta do and stuff. Like I got some cleaning to do. Looking at my trash can over there. But yeah, I would love to on this YouTube channel make it big, where I had all kinds of money to do a lot of giving and helping and stuff. Because that's one of the main things you will see a lot when I have the funds to do so. Is make enough money where I make $1,000, buy up a bunch of stuff and give it to people. Because one thing I would do is I would get on the internet, look at what you have to stream more. Oh no, yeah, I know a lot of people. When doing a live stream, I learned about uploading videos to YouTube, setting up live streams. It all depends on certain times of the day and stuff, and then the algorithm will pick it up and you'll do super good. And me being a small channel, there are so many other bigger YouTube channels out there and stuff that they're gonna first live stream yourself. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be that weirdo. You know, there's things that people do on the internet that I myself would say, nope. But yeah, sometimes it also helps if you share live streams and stuff. But yeah, I know it's certain times of the day. You know, you gotta when you start a live stream, you gotta start it like at a certain time of the day, and then go for quite a while, and then like videos. You know, that'll if you upload a regular video every so often, you gotta certain times of the day, and to help gain views and stuff. It's all about what times of the day the algorithm decides to pick up channels. You know, I'm a small channel, so right now I got a lot of growing to do before Google starts saying, "Hey, we need to put this guy in a certain algorithm position and stuff." And sometimes I've even watched videos where content creators talk about where if you're doing all kinds of different content, sometimes the algorithm won't pick you up and know what category to basically put you in and stuff. So you do got to be careful of that as well and stuff. And everything, thumbnails, titles, are a play a big role in stuff. Because you're trying to sell something. It's basically like you're trying to sell your videos to somebody to get people to click on them, and that's true. If the title is kind of crappy or you ain't got a really good thumbnail, nobody's gonna want to watch the video, even if it was a good video. Because some of the YouTubers I watch talk about that stuff, just like this live stream because of my the title. It's pretty long and stuff. So yeah. Yep, you have a great night too. Matter of fact, since it's getting kind of colder out, actually end this live stream. I know it's just cut out there just a second. I'm gonna actually end this live stream, and then a little bit later on do one in my house where it's a little warmer. Because right now it's about 50 something out and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna. How far are you from my? Well, I live in Michigan. I live in the mitten. I think they call it Central Michigan, the lower. I live in what they call West Michigan. I'm in between Grand Rapids and the Lansing area. But yeah, I'll probably cut this live stream, and then a little bit later on get back on here and do a live stream from inside my house because it's getting a little cooler out. It's actually we're in the higher 40s and lower 50s today, so we're starting to since the sun is starting to go down, it's starting to get a little cooler out. So I am going to cut this live stream and in a little bit restart it back up a little bit later on in my house. So you'll catch me probably on here a little bit later on. So have a good night, everyone. If I don't get back on, may not, but most likely will. Have a good night, everyone.